Hi, I'm Lebovic. Thanks so much for watching. Today's short course, is going to be on writing winning offers in a competitive market. Highest doesn't always mean best. You're going to hear some information on what I used and what I suggest my team use to help your buyers get under contract. And also, it doesn't just come down to the terms and price as it usually does. It also has to do with the experience that you're creating for the seller and the seller's agent as well. So I'm going to cover a lot of that as well. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first. So in 2014, I decided to become a full-time real estate agent in late 2014. I partnered with the team, the Group 4610 Network out of Keller Williams Realty. And between the leads, the training, and the support I received, I was able to close a total of 72 homes in my first full year in 2015. And just by the numbers, that's about $20 million worth of volume. 24 of those closings were buyers, and 48 of those closings were sellers. So I put together these tools like what works when a buyer's agent is sending me offers as a listing agent, as a seller's agent. And so I implemented that into my strategies working with buyers as well. So fast forward, now I've got a team, about 17 agents in Colorado Springs, Denver, and Littleton. And just last year in 2017, we closed $57 million worth of real estate. That's 168 transactions, and the numbers are different. 51 of those were sellers, and 117 of those were buyers. So a lot of these strategies I'm about to share apply to what we did to get all those buyers under contract and closed. So a little bit more about this course. First, this doesn't work in all markets. Second, it might apply to your area on some properties, but not other properties. And third, check with your managing broker. Make sure the strategies you're about to use are allowed by the office and suggested in your local area. So let's go ahead and get started here. There's 3 keys to getting your offer accepted, your client's offer. Number 1, be really good at setting the right expectations with your buyers. That's where it all begins, and that's going to determine how well the whole transaction goes, even when you're under contract. Number 2, communicate really well with the seller's agent. Always be positive. When you're sending offers, send them the complete package of the offer, the lender letter, or the proof of funds. Be great to work with, even leading up to when you get your client under contract, and of course after as well. And third is write really clean, great offers, and be sure that you're talking to your managing broker or leader, having them look it over and see, is there anything that could be filled in that would be useful. So it starts with having a great buyer consultation. We sit down with our buyers and we go over not just why we're great to work with and why they should hire us, but also here's what to expect when going through the purchase process. So first is know your market. And so this class is on a competitive market. So I shared a screenshot of something I always printed and brought with me to a buyer consultation. I searched for properties based on the area and type that they're looking for, and I pulled other homes in the area that recently sold in the last 60 to 90 days. And what I'm showing them are the 2 columns that I have highlighted here. One is the current cumulative days on market, the total time it took to go under contract. And second is the sale price to list price ratio. I might have that backwards, it's a tiny print there. But the point is, what I'm showing them is, hey, in the area you're looking, it's really competitive. On average, homes go under contract in the first 7 days or the first 14 days, whatever it is for your area. So you have to act quickly when you find the property that you like. And secondly, what we're seeing a lot of times is that properties are selling for more than asking price. And that's what they're going under contract for and closing for. And so what that prevents is you showing a home, your buyer falling in love, and them saying, well, we want to sleep on it. We want to go see 17 other houses before we decide to make an offer on this one. No, we want to set the expectation up front. It's a competitive market. You got to act quickly if you find the house you want to buy. Also, when they fall in love with that house, that's not the time to tell them that, okay, so I talked to the seller's agent, there's 7 offers on the table, and how much over asking price do you want to offer, right? They're going to think you swindled them or something. So you want to educate them up front that properties sell for more than asking price. So first is know your market. You don't have to be a market expert for all areas, and you just want to focus on this area that they're looking for. You're kind of becoming the market expert. Second is share what to expect, and third is share the keys to winning in this market. What can we do on the offer that's going to make your offer stand out against other competing offers? And so it's when we're showing a house, I like to call it when we're out selling houses, not just showing and opening doors, but we're selling houses. What I like to do is I like to go in front of the house with them. Before we go in, I like to say, so just so you know, all houses are imperfect. And the inspector will always find things that are wrong with it. But just know you're buying it in an as-is condition. The purpose of the inspection is to uncover items you previously didn't see. So I'm going to ask you to, look at the cracked look at the cracked, driveway. Go ahead and look at this window with some moisture in it. Consider when you're making your offer that you're buying it with the things that you can see. That will help prevent inspection things going awry or missed expectations when they're ready to negotiate things. One other thing I love having a buyer do is let them get excited about things. Maybe draw their attention to the window, but don't tell them, look at that amazing view. You want them to experience it for themselves and get excited about the house. Another piece of advice that somebody once gave me is that he said, oh, look at the ugly green wall in this house. And of course, it was the property that the buyer ended up buying, and they loved that green wall. So unless you are asked for your opinion, maybe it's best to keep it to yourself. I like to, when we're walking through the house, tell people, if I'm quiet, it's because there's nothing I'm noticing that's concerning to me. I'm definitely looking around, and I'll bring up items that have concern to me. Otherwise, I'm just your advocate, and I'm here to answer questions and look around. Finally, and this goes back to the buyer consult, knowing their motivation, asking what's prompting the move, why is that important to you, will help you determine what their motivation is. And so if it's down to negotiations, they've seen 15 homes, it's the one they love and the toilet is broken, and they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't think I want to buy the house because it has a broken toilet. You can remind them, well, little Johnny needs to go to school in this school district, right? That was really important to you. And we haven't seen anything else, so are you willing to overcome that issue and fix the toilet on your own, or whatever the case is? Help them, remind them of their motivations when they're on the fence of what direction to go. Okay, so now let's talk about communicating and being great to work with. It's okay to be persistent with the seller's agent, just don't be mad. I would suggest being positive, even if they haven't returned your calls. Text them, send them an email, try to communicate, but always have a smile on your face when you're talking to them on the other line, because they're the ones advising their clients on which offer to accept, and of course you want it to be your client's offer. So sometimes sellers' agents aren't used to getting multiple offers on a property and they feel overwhelmed. Listen for that and ask them questions. Well, when are you reviewing offers with your client? Are you going to do it at their house? I'm just curious because I'd like to send you guys a pizza if that's okay, or something that will help them. I have this great offer comparison worksheet. I'm happy to share it with you. My email address will be at the end of the presentation. Go ahead and email me for free, no questions asked. I'm just going to send it to you. And I like sending that to sellers agents so they can just put it in a really easy format. And when they go over it with their client, they can select which offer is best. And of course, hopefully that's ours. But we want to come from contribution and help the overwhelmed seller's agent as well. So now here's some questions to ask the seller's agent if your buyer expresses interest in making an offer. I'm not going to read all of these in detail. You could pause the video and look at them. I highly recommend that. But what I'm going to suggest is that you're asking questions that A, are going to help the seller and the seller's agent to achieve their goals. We want this to be a win-win for all parties involved. And number two, or B, is that we are communicating well with our client too and advising them on, well, here's what I was able to get from the seller's agent, and here's what I'm recommending that we do on an offer based on the information I received. So let's move on and let's talk about writing and sending clean offers. So remember, it's about price, terms, and now it's about the experience. So here's a couple of items you could read through, but you definitely want to stand out, of course, be great to work with. And let's cover some of my favorites of actual terms in the offer to help you stand out. Number one is advise your client you're buying as is, that you already told them that in the buyer consult. But when writing an offer, one thing that I like to add, if my buyer is okay with it, is that the buyer understands that they're buying as is, and it's still subject to an inspection and an inspection objection, but the buyer acknowledges it's not meant to nickel and dime and bring up small issues. Now, definitely talk to your managing broker on what that verbiage is going to look like. And also in the purchase contract, it already kind of says that. It already says that. But we want to bring it to the seller's attention on that your buyer is not going to nickel and dime them. So cover appraisal gap, meaning if it appraises out here and the offer price is here, your buyer acknowledges they'll bring in an extra maybe $2,000 or $3,000 over appraised value to complete the purchase. Find out what's important to seller through those questions we asked earlier. Go ahead and read the slide, pause it here if you like. Those are some of my favorite aspects of an offer. If my buyer's okay with it and that's what the seller desires, just make a deal happen and have it win-win for everybody. So also when sending the offer, I'm going to make sure I know as I'm writing the email that's accompanying the offer to the seller's agent, the seller is probably going to see that offer and what I write in there. And so I've got a laundry list in my email accompanying the offer with all the reasons why I'm going to be great to work with, my buyer's going to be great to work with, the lender that they've chosen, I've done 15 deals with before, it should be a smooth closing, and they're pre-approved for a loan. I'm also going to add documents to the offer like the lender pre-approval letter. I'm going to copy on the lender so that's their signal to call the listing agent and say, yeah, Aaron and their buyer, we're working with them. They're fantastic to work with. That all makes a great impression on a seller's agent. So let's finish out and recap here. Again, pull out these tips only when appropriate. It may or may not apply to your area. Setting expectations properly with the buyer will make a world of a difference in the transaction from start to finish, even when viewing homes. Communicate well with the listing agent, be great to work with, and send a clean offer with all the attachments accompanying that one email to make it easy on the seller's agent to present that offer and have all the information at once. Remember, it's about price, terms, and the experience. So here's my information. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any follow-up questions, I'm totally happy to help. I'd love to send you my offer comparison worksheet. I know that's gotten my buyers under contract before. I hope it helps you as well. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.